Hello everyone, my name is Michail Bampatsikos and today I'll be presenting the paper entitled Solving the Cold Start Problem in Trust Management in IoT. First, I will present the problem we solve and then how the related work addresses this problem. Moreover, I will give a brief overview of our solution and its contribution, along with its architectural components and the sequence of operation among these components. Furthermore, I will give insight with regards to the security consideration and propose countermeasures in the context of our solution. Additionally, I will present a performance evaluation of our solutions. And finally, I will talk about our conclusions and future work. IoT devices play a key role in our daily lives by providing services in vital sectors such as factory of the future, healthcare, smart transportation systems, and smart cities. Therefore, it is necessary that these devices must be trustworthy. A way to evaluate a device's trustworthiness is trust management. A typical trust management approach works in the following way. Let's assume there are two IoT devices, IoT device A and IoT device B. IoT device A requests a service from IoT device B, and IoT device B, upon receiving that request, provides this service to IoT device A. After using that service, IoT device A provides an evaluation of the service to the trust management system, and by using this evaluation, the trust management system produces devices B trust score. Most trust management approaches assign a numerical trust score to an IoT device in the scale from 0 to 1, with 0 signifying complete distrust and 1 signifying complete trust. But what happens when an IoT device just joined the network for the first time? How do we trust a device for which we do not know its trust score? And how can we determine the trustworthiness level of an unknown device with which no one has interacted before in the network? This is known as the cold start problem. Some trust management approaches set a device's initial trust score equal to 0.5 arbitrarily. 0.5 in the scale from 0 to 1 signifies a neutral trust level. Other solutions set the initial trust score equal to 0, which means that the device that just arrived in the network is completely untrustworthy. Some trust management solutions do not consider the cold start problem at all, while another work sets as an initial trust score the average trust score of all the IoT devices in the network. However, this can prove unfair and unrealistic in case the average trust score of the network is extremely high or extremely low. Two approaches set the initial trust score by using remote attestation. Remote attestation is a process through which an IoT device with limited computational resources known as the prover verifies the correctness of its internal state to a remote party known as a verifier upon the latter's request. However, these two approaches do not consider computational denial of service attacks. In a computational denial of service attack, a malicious verifier constantly sends multiple attestation requests to the prover. Thus, the prover keeps invoking the attestation process in it and then, as a result, it is kept busy and cannot perform the tasks it was designed for. We propose solving the cold start problem by combining the Barrett remote attestation protocol along with a set of weighted device properties and parameters. With the terms properties and parameters, we refer to whether or not the device has a TPM or SGX and to the location of the device or the operator of the device, among other factors. Our approach solves the Callstar problem while it provides a justified initial trustworthiness level owed to the parameters above and the output of the Barrett remote attestation protocol, and at the same time protecting IoT devices from computational denial of service attacks by utilizing the Barrett remote attestation protocol. More specifically, in Barrett, each verifier that wants to send an attestation request to an IoT device has to pay a fee for each attestation request. Thus, computational denial of service attacks that require multiple attestation requests become prohibitively expensive. Our architecture comprises the following components: the Barrett remote attestation protocol, the IoT devices which sit at the heart of our approach, the verification nodes which act as verifiers in the context of the remote attestation protocol and perform trust calculations, the blockchain network, the Callstar trust score calculation algorithm, and the smart contract that regulates the remote attestation process and records all transactions to the blockchain. So, with regards to the sequence of operation in our approach, first, the Barrett remote attestation protocol executes. Initially, a verification node pays a fee and submits as a transaction the attestation request to the blockchain. Then, the smart contract residing and executing on the blockchain notifies the IoT device about the attestation request. The IoT device, upon receiving the notification, invokes the attestation process and produces a checksum of its internal state known as the attestation report R. Then it submits as a transaction the attestation report to the blockchain and sends it to the verifier simultaneously. The verifier verifies the attestation report and submits the verification outcome on the blockchain as a transaction. Then the Barrett remote attestation concludes. Afterwards, the Callstar trust score calculation algorithm commences, which receives as inputs the set of device parameters and properties, as well as the output of the Barrett remote attestation process. By combining those two, it produces the initial trust score of the device or the Callstar trust score of the device and writes it as a transaction to the blockchain. More specifically, the Callstar trust score calculation algorithm operates as follows. As mentioned earlier, it receives as inputs the attestation report as well as the device's parameters and properties. Then, by using those, it generates a trust score based on the remote attestation outcome and a trust score based on the properties and parameters of the device. Then, by aggregating these two trust scores, it generates the Callstar trust score of the IoT device. We do not consider trust management related attacks, such as bad-mouthing, on-off, and ballot stuffing, since an IoT device in the context of our approach just joined the network and had no time to perform such attacks which aim to trick the trust management system. The only adversary that we consider are malicious verification nodes, which can perform solo computational denial of service attacks and collusion computational denial of service attacks. In a solo computational denial of service attack, a malicious verification node constantly sends multiple attestation requests to a single prover, while in collusion computational denial of service attacks, multiple malicious verification nodes collude with each other and perform the CDOS attack against a single prover. The purpose of such an attack and the motivation is to share the cost in terms of fees that performing the attack would incur. However, we deter these attacks and prevent them first through the attestation request fees, which make these attacks prohibitively expensive. And then, through a smart contract that limits the number of attestation requests that can reach an IoT device in a period of time, whether these attestation requests come concurrently from multiple malicious verification nodes or a single malicious verification node. We implemented the Callstar score calculation algorithm and evaluated it with respect to its performance. More specifically, as the charts indicate, the solution showcases an almost linear increase in the time required to compute the trust score for increasing numbers of IoT devices that concurrently join the network, as well as in the memory capacity required for the calculations. As we mentioned in the previous slide, there is a linear increase in memory consumption and computation time as the number of concurrently arriving IoT devices increases. However, the fact that we have a justified initial trustworthiness for each IoT device dwarfs the above issue. Furthermore, it is worth mentioning that our algorithm produces an initial trust score for example, for 1,000 devices in less than 6 milliseconds, which is not a long time considering the magnitude of the devices that arrive concurrently in the network. Future work will include implementing the Callstar score formation mechanism architecture, which will encompass the remote attestation procedure and the blockchain infrastructure. Moreover, we aim to optimize the algorithm complexity so as to reduce its memory consumption and the computation time required to produce the Callstar trust score of IoT devices. Thank you.